Okay, everybody, and I'm going to share my screen. We're going to continue 20 minutes of this tutorial. Oh, and I better start my timer as well. Okay, so scrolling down the 40S page through this end of year assignments now all listed, I'm going to open the instruction document for this tutorial and all the code in its PDF form. So yesterday, in this instruction document, we realize we're quite deep into the document now, right? We've completed a lot of that stuff where we just had to put in comments, explaining what each of these classes does, giving you the potential to research them further if that's something you're interested in. And by page 4 or 5 of this document, we're on to this class called the Node class. And the Node class is really the crux of the study that this unit on collections and the concept of linked lists really deals with. So yesterday we finished this class called the Node class. We finished modifying the code to get it completed. You definitely want to look through that code if you want to really understand what nodes are. Okay, and now we're on to page 7, and we started working on the linked list class, which also included comments, but also some code as well. So you can see here that most of the classes we've worked on in this tutorial are done at this point now. If you've been following along this tutorial, everything up to and including Node is done, and all we have left to work on is this class called linked list. Now, it just so happens it's the largest one we're going to be working on. But with that one now open, we started working on the code, okay? And you need to be responsible for all the places where the word note appears in comments. So we started scrolling through and changing code any place a note appeared. So we've done that, and today we're going to start at this place, this method called add front, where there's a note there. So that's where we're going to start changing up the code from where we left off yesterday. Okay, so that would require us to also then scroll through our PDF of just the code, unless you want to type the code, which you can. That would be an excellent way to do it, but it will probably take you a lot longer than the 1 hour this tutorial was designed to do if you're actually typing in all the code. Okay, it's going to probably take you a lot longer. So anyways, I'm going to scroll now to, and I'll give you the page number so you know about where we are. Here's linked list. And here's the note for add front. And we're on page 49 of the PDF. So on page 49 of the PDF is where we're going to pick up with this for today. Okay, remember, we still can't run this thing. It has got too many bugs in it at this point to run it, but we can at least continue where we left off. Okay, so here's add front. Here's the PDF. Now, obviously, if you are grabbing from a method, you're just grabbing the code inside the method and not the 2 curly brackets where the method begin and end. That's already in right here. There's those 2 curly brackets. So I'm just grabbing the code that's in between. In other words, this code right here. This code right here is going to replace the note. I'm going to get rid of that note. I can paste it right over top of it, or I can select it and delete it. However you want to do it is up to you. Once I paste that code in, just as a reminder, and I'm putting this on the video, once I copy and paste that code in, I'm also going to do the Alt Shift F to automatically format that code after I select it. So make sure you select the code first. Your mouse or your keyboard, select it, and then press Alt Shift F to auto format it. So let's do that. Copy, paste, select, Alt Shift F to auto format it. Then you got to watch out, because when you do that, it's possible that in the copy paste process, it might miss something like a space. Sometimes when you copy paste over, it might miss a space. In this case, I'm not seeing any errors in my code, so it's all good. Nothing is wrong here. Now, this is a little weird that it didn't indent this comment, so I'm going to just tab that over just to clean it up a little bit more. Part of your mark in this tutorial is the fact that you did clean up your code, okay? I'm not expecting you to necessarily make it look exactly like it shows here. Obviously, you can see this if statement didn't use curly brackets, but after I did an auto clean on it, it put curly brackets in. That's fine. There's no problem there. I added the comments to help explain what's going on within the logic of this code, okay? And I'm not gonna go through all the lines in here. We don't have time for that. If you really wanted to learn about conditional statements, or pardon me, collections and linked lists, definitely I would read through this code. Definitely I would read through my comments. And even more so, I would go into the 40S course, okay, under content of collections, and I would look through this content. Maybe I would watch this series of videos. Okay, that series of videos there is that playlist of videos on collections is me teaching it in a much more comprehensive way. So it's 12 videos, it's long. Or maybe you could look through this PowerPoint presentation on collections, which again is about 71 slides, but 71 slides, a lot of them are code. So you're not going to necessarily look through the code, you'd look through the logic of what's going on here. Like what a linked list is, how it works. This part would help you visualize it. Because you guys aren't going to be doing a test on this unit, I don't know if that's necessary to understand that fully. If you are going to take computer science beyond high school and linked lists comes up, or collections in general, then definitely you would want to research this, right, to help you get a better understanding of what's going on. But right now we're just focused on getting this tutorial done. So there's add front done. Okay, next up, if I keep scrolling down, so now with add front down, the next one is add back. It's right after it. So this should be easy for me to find in the PDF, because right after add front is add back. Now, one thing to watch out for is these PDFs do tend to span between pages. So you can see here a line of code like this might have got really messed up when it got turned into a 2-page or multiple page document. So now we're on page 50 of the PDF. I'm going to grab this code right here. Okay. And let me remind you of this process. I'm not going to keep reminding you of this over and over and over again. Okay. But what we're doing is we're selecting our PDF. And I want to give you a couple tips for that. Okay. You might have to double click a word first. Then click and drag. Select the code from the PDF from my website. Try that technique. Double click the word, any word first, then try clicking and dragging. It's like it needs to wake it up a little bit first. Okay, so then what are you going to do? You're going to copy it, which could be a right clicking copy. Actually, try that again. I want that. You could copy, which could be a right click, which is, you might have seen how I'm doing it, or it could be Control, also a way to copy, right? Control C, and then paste into NetBeans. Okay, so I want this on the video right now, just as a reminder of how you interact with that PDF. You select the code that's near the place where you have the notes, and then you copy it and paste it into NetBeans. So I don't want to keep doing this over and over again. So copy, paste. Okay. Now, a note on that. Okay, and again, you're going to paste. Now, paste could be Control plus V. That's a way to paste. Okay. Or you could right-click and paste. And you can paste over top of note, comment. You might have seen I just did that. There was that comment there that said note, and I just pasted right over top of it. Okay? Or delete comment before or after pasting. Okay, so I'm going to show that in a second. I'm going to do it all three ways. Just as a reminder, I want this on the video. And again, I'm not going to keep going over it, but that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to undo back. So here's the note comment. I could just paste in the code and then go in and delete this. Okay? Or I could delete the comments and then paste it in. Or the way I did it, I selected the note comment and pasted it right over top of it. Okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to select the code and do the Alt-Shift-F to format it. Let me remind you of that. Okay. So once pasted, select the code with mouse or your keyboard. I'm not going to go over that, but you can select stuff with your keyboard by holding down Shift. And use the arrow keys. I can show you that. So once you paste it in, select the code with your mouse or your keyboard. And when I select the code, I mean the code that was just pasted. Okay, so make sure you do that. Then what do? Well, then, okay, press Alt, Shift, F. Format. What format means is clean up that code. Okay, so I'm just leaving that on the video right now because I just did that. I pasted in that code, I selected it with my mouse, and then I did Alt-Shift-F to clean up that code. One more thing though. You may have to add spaces to the code. Spaces to comments isn't that big a deal, but occasionally when you paste it over from that PDF, it doesn't copy and paste properly, and a space might be missing or something of that nature. So we got to watch for that, okay? So right here, what I'm saying is make sure you watch out for that. Okay, so I want that in the video right now, and you could pause that if in the video if that's a problem for you. But there it is. No problem with add back. It pasted in just no problem. Okay, there's the code. And now I'm going to scroll down for the next note, which is right here under get. So I'm going to jump over, scroll down, select the code, which is just 2 lines, which is really handy. Copy and paste, select, and format. So now it's getting a lot faster. Now that I have that method down of how to get that code in there, that's really important. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to say about that, okay? Copy, paste, and format. We'll get the tutorial coding done quickly. That's clear. It's going a lot quicker now, okay? There's no doubt that this process of copying and pasting and formatting, that was what I set the tutorial up to do, is to give you guys that advantage, okay? What it won't do, it will not help you to learn this content. Okay, so that's important to know, okay? Copying and pasting is pretty much, I could have just given you the whole project as well and say, well, there, now you have a done tutorial. In order to learn this stuff, okay? So to better learn, read the comments, right, that are in the code. Examine the code. Ask questions to me, okay, about it if you don't understand, and watch/read from my website. The stuff you need to learn in more detail about collections is definitely on my website. Now, this is the Computer Science 40S course, so there's no other high school computer science course other than the IB computer science courses that you would need to worry about that you haven't learned collections for, right? But if you're going to take computer science beyond high school, whether as studying it in school, like a Red River College or University of Manitoba or University of Brandon or whatever, or even if you're just doing it as a hobbyist, just to learn it, the concept of linked lists and collections might come up, and therefore you might want to learn this stuff to help really understand what the code means. Okay, so I just wanted that in the video as well, just as a note. And now let's go down here to set, and let's get set done. Now be careful about set, because you can see this is an instance where a line of code spans 2 pages. So this may not work, but we're going to try it. Copy, paste, select, format. It worked, luckily. That worked out well. Let's keep scrolling down. We got 3 minutes left. The next methods, front and back, do not have a note in them, so I can scroll past them. Only when I get to remove front does it have a note. So now I can scroll past front and back and get to remove front. Grab its code. Again, remember all the things I mentioned earlier in the video. Make sure you're only grabbing the code you need. Make sure you are able to grab it, copy it, paste it, select it, auto format it. Now, remove front is an instance of a method that when I pasted it, I can see 2 errors, one right here and one right here. They're clearly marked. They're marked with light bulbs right here. That's one way to look at it, or little exclamation points, or red underlines. There are lots of ways to recognize those 2 errors have occurred. Now, how do I fix them? Well, I already mentioned that the way to fix these would be by adding in the spaces that didn't copy over. You might have to look back here and realize that there should have been a space between T and data. There should have been a space between return and data. So I just got to put those spaces in, right there and right there. So I'm putting in a space there and a space there. And now remove front is done as well. Okay, 1.5 minutes left. Let's keep scrolling. Remove back. Let's go down and take care of that one. Here's remove back. Copy. Paste. Select. Auto format. Add in missing spaces. Remove back is done. Hitting save along the way to make sure my code is saved so I don't have to restart. Keep scrolling down. Contains is fine. Add after is the next method I have to deal with. So I scroll past contains to add after. Select all this code. Copy. Over to NetBeans. Paste. Select. Auto format. No errors in the code. I can keep on scrolling. Now on to add before. scroll down my PDF, select the code, copy, paste, auto format, no errors in the code. I'm going to scroll past add, and get to remove. Scroll past add to remove. As my timer ticks down here, let's just finish this one up. Copy, paste, select, auto format. Save. Okay, we're pretty close. If you actually look along the side here at NetBeans, places where errors occur are where these little red lines are showing up here. And right now there's only 3 of them, which really means we're not going to go do this today, but there's probably, if I keep scrolling down, only 3 more notes to add in for tomorrow. I'm just going to go down and check that. So look at all this code I'm scrolling past. Here's one note right here. Here's one note right there. Scroll past, scroll past, scroll past. Here's one note right there. And that's it. So I was correct. There's only 3 more spots we're going to have to put in code tomorrow. And then we'll actually be able to run it and test it. And then I'll even show you how you can prepare it to hand it in. So tomorrow we will finish this tutorial. I'm going to shut off the video now. And I said it would be done by about